if you did the brief interventions course last year, this is four more of similar things for that. But the ones I did in the brief interventions course were particularly to help clients. And several people have said, well, we need something to help the therapist. So these are things that you can either use for yourselves or that you can give to clients to play with. There's four simple little routines, all quite different. Well, no, they're not all quite different. Two are rather similar. And they will allow you to make pretty much instant change for yourself. They take just seconds to work. Rather than just talk about them, I'm going to work experientially with people. As you know, some of you I like to do that. So I can work with 3 and 4 people at a time. Good evening, Emma. Right, okay. So what I'm going to work with first of all, this first routine, and I have no idea if this is going to take the whole hour or not. If it doesn't take the hour, then you'll have to forgive me. I know I've said it was going to be an hour, but really it's just 4 little routines. I'm going to teach them. And once they're taught, and I can answer questions. Angela, it's nice to see you here as well. Actually, nice to see you back on the classes again too. So the first one we're going to do is where somebody has slighted you. Now, people often say that they're not bothered if somebody slights them, but it's not quite true, because most people, if somebody dismisses you or slights you, just gives you a look or whatever, most people do react uncomfortably, or a lot of people do react uncomfortably to it. So this first one is a little routine that is really, you could make a huge change when somebody has said something to you or just been dismissive of you or put you down in some way. Type me an okay if you've had the experience of somebody putting you down and you felt a sense of, oh, crush. You know the thing I mean, not just notice it, but oh, okay, lots of you. Yeah, you see, this is this is fairly common. Yeah, okay, Dawn. And give me a why this time for yes, if your mind goes immediately to a particular person. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So I'm guessing that means that a lot of you have got a particular person that can say the wrong thing and crush you. Can just crush you and put you down straight away. And that's okay. But we want to deal with that. Now I'm going to work with 5 people at a time because I like to ask questions afterwards. So I can't work with more than that. So who would like to be the first 5? Who would like to be the other end of me working with them? You're the work subjects. The first 5 that say me on here. So it's Leonie, Dawn, Kate, Kim, and one more. Wait, Adelina. Good. Okay. So Leonie, Dawn, Kate, Kim, and Adelina. You're the guinea pigs. So I'm going to do this work with you, and then what I want you to do is to tell me after you've done it how it feels, and I might make an adjustment if necessary. Don't usually need to. It's something that I've done before with people, and if you've been on you might have experienced it on one of the classes. I've got an idea Kim has already experienced this one, but nonetheless, we'll go through it again, and it's always good to do. So what I want you to do is so you 5, I'm talking to you 5 now, so the rest don't have to type okay, it's just the 5 that I'm working with. So I want you to get the person into mind as vividly as you can, the person that you know can make you feel put down with just a glance or a word or whatever. And tell me when you've got that person vividly in your mind. You need them in your mind vividly. So almost as if they're in front of you. Okay, good. Just waiting. Adelina, good. And Kate, fantastic. Great. So this person now, I want you to imagine, but they've just given you some withering remark. They've just told you something that really is a put down. It makes you feel pretty stupid. It doesn't make you, but you know what I mean. You react by feeling pretty stupid and pretty put down. So, and you can do the rest of the exercise with your eyes closed for a moment. So close your eyes and see them vividly in your mind. Okay. And they're looking straight at you. Look straight back at them. Just make eye contact and look straight back at them. A bit rude, actually. And then slowly walk around them. You're going to look at the face first, and then you walk round to the first side. Doesn't matter whether you're walking clockwise or anti-clockwise. Pause on the side. They can't turn to look at you, but they know you're there. And you're looking at their ear and their side and their profile. Then you walk round a bit further, round to the back. Now, they never see that part of them. They just never, ever see that part of them at all. And you look at them, and this is pretty amusing because you're seeing a part of somebody that they can never see. You can't look around and see your back. They might have seen it on film, but it's different. You're seeing something they can never see. Then round the other side of them, so you're looking at the other profile. then round to the front again, and you look them straight in the eyes and you say in your mind, you know, you're not all that actually, after all. And do the same exercise again and mean it. You're not all that actually, and mean it. And walk round to the side of them again. And as you walk round to the side of them, looking at their profile, you know that they're dying to turn to face you, but they can't. And you can find yourself grinning and thinking, you're not all that. Then a bit further round to the back, and you're behind them. And you can say again to them there, you know, you're not all that. You're really not all that. I can see that you're not all that. Then to the other side, and finally round to the front again, and just look them straight in the eye. And this time it feels much better when you say to them, you know, you're not all that actually at all. Now, I'm guessing you've had your eyes closed. So Kim, Adelina, Leonie, and Dawn, and Kate, tell me how you feel now when you think about that same person. Okay, Kim, good, thank you. All right. And Leonie, good. Not all that, Michael. You're not all that. Okay. Leonie, feeling lighter, good. And no problem, Michael. Adelina, calm, that's good. So, Dawn, when you say weird, how can you describe the weird? What sort of weird that is? This is why I work with 5 people, so that you can see what I do if somebody makes a remark of some sort, so I can work with it. So, when you say weird, describe the weird. Oh, okay. You feel a bit intimidated walking around. Okay, Dawn, let's do it again then. So this time, Dawn, see them in your mind's eye. Okay, and do it again with your eyes closed. So you haven't got to type anything at the moment. Um, Look straight at them. Now, you've got every right. You've got as much right to be there as they have. I'm sure you could agree with that. You haven't got to agree with me, but just listen to the words. Looking straight at them, you've got absolutely every right to be there. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter whether they're an authority figure or a yobbo, or a hooligan, a policeman, a parent, or a boss. It makes no difference who they are. They're just a person. They do all the same things that you do. They'll do all the same body functions. And if they intimidate you, it's based on their own insecurity, whether you can recognize it or not, because that's the truth of it. Bear that in your mind. If they seek to intimidate you, they feel the need to intimidate you. And I know that you don't feel the need to intimidate anybody. And that says something, but they feel the need to intimidate you. So you walk round them, you look at, we'll say you're going clockwise round them. So you're looking at their right ear, their right side, and looking at their profile and thinking, yeah, you're just like an ordinary person. And feel it, Dawn. Recognize you just feel like an ordinary person. Then look at their back. Recognize you're seeing a part of them that they can't see. You're seeing a bit of them that they will never, ever, ever, ever see. And it's fine. Walk round a bit further around. This time you're looking at their left side, coming around to the front of them again, and you're looking at them and you're thinking, you know, you really are not all that. Anyway, who do you think you are? Trying to make me feel intimidated. And you realize that the sense of intimidation, Dawn, is somehow fading. So I want you to walk around them again a bit faster this time, looking at their right side, now their back, now their left side, round to the front of them again, circling around them, and recognizing that you have absolutely every right to be there. And if they try to intimidate you, then that just tells you that they're a very insecure person. Dawn, open your eyes and tell me what it feels like this time. Don't please me. If it still feels unreal or uncomfortable, there's plenty of other stuff I can do. So, Dawn, you're laughing, okay? Is No, Janine, there's no notes for this one. You just have to look at the recording. You will get the recording. I just simply didn't have time to write a load of notes. I normally do. You feel funny and feel good, Dawn. Okay, now all 5 of you that I was working with, I want you to do now is to put yourself into a situation where you would normally feel put down with that person, whoever it is, and whatever they normally do, saying whatever they would normally say um, to put you down. So make it vivid in your mind. See their face, get the sense of them. If they jump forward to intimidate you, whatever it is they do, notice that it just doesn't touch you. Now, tell me again, all 5 of you, what it feels like when you really do your best. You know, if you've done BWRT, what we're doing is firing up the power. So what I want you to do is to really do your best now to fire it up. See what happens when you try to find that uncomfortable feeling. Now we've nearly finished this one, but I'm just going to show you something quickly with it. Leonie, gone completely, good, and you can't track it down. I'm not pretending these are permanent because they may not be, but that doesn't matter. You'll find out why in a minute. So Kim and Adelina and Kate, fine, good. Dawn, yeah, that's interesting, Dawn, isn't it? You just can't find it. Go on. Good. Okay. Perfect. Um, Kim, I know that it is a great little fix. We haven't quite finished with it yet, Jane, either, because if somebody says something to you, this wouldn't work. This quick version wouldn't work if you hadn't learned well, I call it the slow version. Of course, we've only been working 11 minutes, so it's still quick. Um, oh, okay, Kim, you've been suspended for a while. That's interesting. Um, what I want you to do now, and this is the quick version, now you've been primed and your brain has been primed, I want you to imagine somebody else, and again, working with the same five. So I want you to imagine somebody else that you know can make you feel a bit uncomfortable. And and so just give me an okay. I want five okays to tell me that you've got somebody else that you know can make you feel uncomfortable. Okay, good. Okay, and Adelina, good. Okay. Imagine we're not going to do the same thing at the first you might think I'm. Imagine as vividly as you can they're in front of you, they're doing whatever it is that can make you feel uncomfortable, and you suddenly realize you can see their back and then come back in front of them. You can see their back, and while you're looking at their back, you're thinking, oh, you don't know I can see that. You're really not all that. You're nothing special, and come back to the front of them again. Tell me what's happened to the feeling when you think of that person this time. That's the speed version, and you'll always be able to use it. It's interesting, isn't it? It's only an anchor. It's nothing particular. Yeah, that's Kate. Only reduced. Um, Kate, the person you were thinking of, is that somebody that can normally intimidate you greatly? Can make you feel really stupid? Just tell me if it is. I thought it might be. Okay. So when you've got someone like that, Kate, you need to spend a little bit longer behind them. That's good learning. Kate, think of that person again. In your mind, switch round behind them so you're behind them and do the bunny fingers over the head. And then come back round to the front of them and see your bunny fingers over their head. What does that feel like, Kate? I've just invented that bit, by the way. I didn't know I was going to do that bit. I often work on the fly with stuff that just pops into my head. Good. Okay. So that's a very simple little routine that you can use. You can teach it. You can use it for yourself. Oh yes, absolutely, Janine. I mean, all these things, and I mean, you've got the basic one where they walk around somebody, and then the one where they just think they can see the person's back. And if it's somebody that really intimidates them, doing the bunny fingers over their head like a photograph, it's really just, in a way, sort of diminishing their power over you because the power is not real. They don't really have any power over you at all. Nobody has real power over you. We can all think that they have, and we can all react to other people, but they don't really have any power over you. So what you do with this particular exercise, it stops you from turning away from the fact and the early brain recognizing this person has some sort of power over you because they can, quote, make you, close quotes, feel something. So if you stay on your mind with them and keep looking at them like that and then walk around them and so on, you sensitize the whole idea to the fact they're nothing special. They're just ordinary people. They're just trying it on a bit because they can. They're a different personality type. There's one last thing that you can do with people like that as well, and this is a very easy one. I know most of you know this one. When you get somebody that is really, Jane, I'll come to that in a minute. When you get somebody that is really trying to give you a bit of a push, a bit of a shove, and really trying to make you feel down, the best way is just to sort of do it. If you've seen NCIS, just do the Gibbs stare. Okay, just stare at them in your mind because that's quite intimidating in itself. Now, this one is slightly different. It's sort of associated. And this is one for a transient loss of self-esteem. You know the thing where you've got to go and do something, but for some reason your self-worth is very low that day. Perhaps because you're going to meet the person that would have one time put you down. Yeah, you can do that, Michael, but this is much. I think my one is better than that. I've used that in the past, but words like that. But I think this one works a bit better. So this is for where their self-esteem can suddenly drop like a stone when they've got to go and meet some, like, I don't know, child school teacher or something of that sort, or a big boss. Your self-esteem plummets. Again, I'm going to work with five people, not the same five people. So let's have the name of somebody, four or five names of people, just say me, who would like to work with transient loss of self-esteem. It's a way of getting your self-esteem back. Laura, yeah, Laura, this will be good for you, actually. Very good for you. And Genevieve, excellent. Two more. Oh, Michael, good. Okay, you want to as well. Good. Okay, we'll have one more then. Michael, Genevieve, Laura, Alexandra, and who else? One more. Helena. Good. Okay, right. This is a very, very brief one, dead easy to work. So I want you to imagine that you actually are feeling in that way when you know your self-esteem has dropped, when you're dreading something, when you're not really sure how you're going to deal with it because you're dreading actually having to deal with this particular person. It's not a situation; it's a person. And just type me okay when you've got it in your mind, when you've got the feeling of low self-esteem in your mind, because we all know what it feels like when you think, "Oh God, what are they going to think of me?" Oh, double okay, a double O from Genevieve. Okay, you're enthusiastic. Okay, good. Right. So I want you to be outside yourself this time. I want you to dissociate from yourself so you can see yourself. And you're looking like you've got no self-esteem. You're a little bit sagged, and you're looking like you feel actually. So you walk around yourself. You do exactly what you were doing with the person just now that you would find intimidating. You walk around yourself, and we'll say you're going clockwise so that I know which way you're going. So you're walking around yourself, and you're dissociated. So you're looking at your right side, and you're looking at the profile, and you think, actually, that's not bad at all. I don't look too bad at all. You look like a regular person. Then walk round to your back. You don't normally see your back. You look pretty good. You're surprised to see me. You actually look pretty good. Better than you thought. We've often see it being our back by sort of holding a mirror up and looking in the mirror, but it's still a bit weird. You don't really see yourself really. But this time you're imagining you see yourself really. There's a bit more to this, so don't worry. Keep on moving around, looking at your left profile. And look at all of yourself, not just your head. Look at yourself up and down. Look at all of you. Have a good look and think, yeah, actually this looks okay. Walk round to the front again and right down to the front, and you're going to high five yourself and thumbs up, and you're going to say, "You're the man, or you're the girl, or you're the lady," whatever you want to say. You're the man, you're the girl, you're the lady, and then link directly into any situation where you know your self-esteem drops. Okay, how does that feel now as you do that, Laura? I'm going to work with you specifically in a minute. I'm good, Helena, absolutely perfect. Alexander, good, excellent. Okay, Laura. Genevieve, good. I like people to be laughing. It's fun. Laura, is it right if I work with you individually? Oh, okay, Michael. Well, that's all right. Good. Laura, I want you to imagine that you've got a class team and it's week one, and you know that you've got a very high grade clinical psychologist on the class, you've got a doctor on the class, and you've got somebody that you know is a bit strict on the class, a bit awkward, a bit warrior like. How does it feel, Laura, if you imagine that? Make it vivid, make it really vivid. Okay, Laura. So I want you to see yourself in front of the class, and yeah, perfect. Okay, Laura. Now I want you to do this bit by bit. So tell me when you can see yourself in front of the class, in the imaginary class. You know they're all there, and you're in front of it. You can see yourself. Good. Drift outside yourself, Laura, so you can see yourself. You're probably dissociated. You can see you and you can see the class. Okay, this is a slightly longer version. So you're outside. So again, do the thing of walking all around. Now, of course, when you get behind you, you're looking past you at the class. And actually, to your surprise, they're looking attentive and interesting. It surprised you a little bit because you didn't realize they'd be like that. Then you realize the truth. You know something they don't. That's why they're there. You know something they don't. That's why they're there. So you continue walking around past your other side, round to the front of you again, grin at yourself, and because you're grinning at yourself and you're dissociated from yourself, you're grinning back. You can't avoid it. High five, right hand to right hand, wallop, smack. You're the girl, and turn around and face the class and draw yourself up and feel a surge of self-esteem that you know you're in the right place. Now, Laura, if that hasn't made you feel pretty good, I must be slipping. What does that feel like? They're short routines. You can use these whenever you want them. Good, excellent. That's had a good effect. Okay, Laura. Yeah, I mean, when you're going to start, Laura, when you're going to start a new class, when you don't even know who's on it, it's still got that daunting feeling, haven't you? That feeling. I mean, oh, Janine. Okay, Janine, I've got time to work on you. Janine, do you think you need to? Let's see. I think maybe one of the other things might be better. Now, I'm going to do this particular routine with you, Janine, yourself. Is that okay? I've got time. I want to work with you specifically. Good. Okay. Do you know who the interviewer is, Janine? You don't. Okay. Can you imagine? Are you imagining what the interviewer is like? Okay. Female or male interviewer? Okay. Oh, good. So are there two or three? Just one of each. Just two interviewers. That's always intimidating, isn't it? Always intimidating. um, how do you feel when you imagine those two interviewers? No, they might think you know nothing. Okay. Good. Um, what can you describe the feeling, or better still, Janine, can you score it on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is high, the anxiety and nerves? Can you score that? 10 high, 8 and butterflies. Perfect. Okay. So Janine, I want you to imagine yourself. You've just gone into the room for the interview. You haven't sat down in front of them yet. But they're there and they're looking at you like you expect them to look at you. They don't show very much. Because I used to be an employee many years ago, I know what interviews are like. So you've gone in and you can see yourself, you've got that slight nervous look about you, and you freeze the whole scene. So nothing can move except you, except you dissociate yourself. You've just gone in, you close the door, and you looked at your front and you're looking a bit nervous, you've got butterflies, you know that it's a score of an 8. You walk round, you look at your profile, and you think, actually, yeah, I tidied myself up, I've come up pretty well, actually. I'm scrubbed up well. Walk round your back thinking, yeah, even if I look at the back of me when I'm leaving, I'm glad I've taken notice of that bit. Look at the other side, yeah, that's still good. You begin to feel much better about yourself. Come round to the front again and look at yourself. Notice that you're looking already a bit less anxious, and high five yourself. Now, the others, the interviewers, can't see this. High five yourself. You're the girl, Janine. You're gonna ace it. And put your hand down and walk round the back of you again and look past you at the interviewers and notice they're already looking approvingly. Come round to the front again, another high five. You're the girl. You're gonna ace it. Okay, Janine, open your eyes if your eyes closed. Otherwise, just tell me what you feel like now when you imagine the interview. Pretty calm, no butterflies. Okay. Now, really explore it, Janine. Really search the whole thing. Test it properly because I've got loads of things I can do. Test it thoroughly and see what happens. See what score. You had an 8 before. 1. Are you pleased with that? As I'm pleased with that. Good. Now, Janine, if when you've got the interview tomorrow, if you wake up tomorrow and you're nervous again, do the same thing again, but also do the first one. So you imagine them behind the desk and you walk around them, okay? Walk around them, look at their right side, walk around them, look at their back, look at their left side, come around the back, round the front, look at both of them and think, you know, you're nothing special. So you can combine both those things together. Okay, who has how can I best put this? Who has a part of their past some time back which you really hope people don't find at some point? Okay, who's got a bit in their past that you really would like to keep hidden? It's honesty time, folks. Most people have, actually. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay, Michael. But we're not asking you to confess. So, but this is based very loosely on another routine that I did that takes a little longer. This is a very quick routine. So most people have got something in their past that they would prefer that other people didn't know. I mean, it doesn't matter. You might think it's way back when you were a teenager, but you just know it's there. And to test it again, what I want you to do is to imagine that everybody who's online today knows everything you've ever done and everything you've ever been and everything you've ever failed at and everything you've ever tried to do and everything you've thought. And then tell me if you've got something in your past you really would prefer to keep hidden. Yeah, yes, you see, you might have thought you didn't have anything, and now all of a sudden, there's stuff there you don't want people to know about. Yeah, you do a good job of blocking it off until somebody actually makes it very evident. Right, okay, this is an easy one. So I want you to let your mind drift to the murkiest part of your past, and you can see it as if you can somehow look at it. It might be in a field or something of that sort, or a narrow corridor. It doesn't matter. The important thing is there's got to be a wall on either side. It doesn't matter how far apart the walls are. There could be a football pitch, but you need to be back at a time in your life, the bit that you want to. You're not going to lose it, You need to make sure it's totally protected. And again, I want to work with 5 of you. So the first 5 that say me, please, I shall work with you. So we're going to work with protecting your past. Good, Sheila, for one, so that nobody can ever discover it. So well, you know they can't anyway, but so you feel completely safe with it all. Who else? Who else wants to be Elizabeth? Good, Sheila, Elizabeth, Helen. Good, couple more. I like to work with 5 at a time because it gives me more leeway, more things to work on if there's any issues with it. 2 more. Gina, good. 1 more. Let's have another one to work. I'm not going to ask you to divulge your secrets, I promise you. You're not going to be having to confess. Charlie, okay, good. Right, so Sheila, Elizabeth, Helen, Gina, and Charlie. I want you to think of that murky part of your past in the background. Now, it may not be anything that you did, it might be just situations and the way that life panned out that you still would prefer that people didn't know. It doesn't matter what it is, but just the way that life panned out. But you would prefer that people weren't able to see it or any part of it. But you know you feel vulnerable because you know it's there. And when we've got those kind of secrets, it's very easy to be anxious in case somebody finds it. We can never truly guarantee that people can't, but we can possibly, Emma, yeah, might be able to do this, but we can never truly guarantee, but we can make ourselves feel that we've done everything we can to keep it away so we don't inadvertently blurt it out at some point. So I want you to imagine you're right on the edge of that. You can look at it, you can see it. And you're looking back at the whole of your life from that point. Now, that might be from 20 years ago, 30 years ago, or even 50 years ago, if you're older than me, older. And you find you've got a glass door as a toughened glass wall. You find the handle. It's on your right-hand side. It must be on your right-hand side. It's very important. I'll tell you why in a minute. It's on your right-hand side. And it's a handle. Now, you might have a very, very wide corridor, like a football field, or it might be narrow. But whatever, just drag that handle across, and you can hear it. It's rumbling. It's quite heavy, and you realise that it goes up as high as you can possibly see, and it goes down into the ground. And the more you pull it, the more it stretches out to the wall on the other side of it. And you keep pulling it and pulling it and pulling it and pulling it, and you realise while you're pulling it, it's actually got a door in it. You don't understand what the door is for yet, but you're not worried about that. You're still moving this glass panel, pulling it, driving it, sliding it. You can hear it rumbling. It's as if it's on wheels or in a slide somehow or another. And then quite abruptly, it clicks sharply into place on the other wall. So it's actually sealed off all that past. And you notice that you can still see through the, you know nobody else can, and it's fairly dark behind there. You can see everything behind there. And you walk along that glass wall, and then you find the door. Now, this door, nobody else can see it. Nobody else, if they found it, could open it. It won't open for anybody. It'll open for you. So if there's a bit of that life in the past that is a resource that you would like to be able to use sometimes, the ability to be sarcastic if you need it, the ability to pick yourself up when you fall over if you need it, the ability to finish with a relationship when you need to, or the ability to start one, in fact. Anything that is behind that wall, you can open that door, nip inside, grab what it is you need, come out and pull the door, and it clicks tight into place. And you just know that nobody else can get in there. So, Sheila, Elizabeth, Helen, Gina, and Charlie, how does that feel? How you've done that, you've closed that wall across. Tell me how that feels. And if there's anything else to work on, I shall do it. Comforting, okay, good. Charlie, good. Secure. Reassuring is good. Helen, we're going to do more of it anyway. We haven't finished yet. Okay. So, you're all feeling better. Now you're going to go into that place. You're going to open the door in the wall. See, that's the first part of it, and often it's just that enough on its own. So now you're going to go through the door inside that place where all that rubbish is. It's okay because it's your and you're at ease with it. And you discover something very interesting. You can pull into it anything that happened after that was in some way related. So, Helen, you've got a later event, and you can find a thread like a cord or a string or a rope, doesn't matter what it is, or a chain, anything, and you can bring that in, and it's your storage place. Emma, you've got it absolutely right. We support its patient security. That's correct. So you can pull that in, Helen. It's linked up to that later event, and for all of you, be inside there where it's actually darker than it is outside. Nobody can see what's going on there. It's your stuff, but you're absolutely at ease with it. And interestingly, the more time you spend in that place, the more you realize it's just human stuff anyway. And because instead of turning away from it, you're thinking, yeah, this was mine, but it's okay because it was the best I could do at the time. There wasn't anything else I could do at the time. So I just did the best I could do under the circumstances. But you can grab anything from a later time, even 20 years or 30 years or 40 years later, and put it back. So it stores in there, so it just doesn't feel anything like it felt. It loses that raw edge, that uncomfortable edge. Store it on there, and you might need to push to get the last bit in and slam the door shut on it. And it's important you slam the door shut on it, and then you know that everything is safe behind there. But you can go in there and grab bits if you want. Now, Elizabeth, you said better, it should, and Helen, you said like to do it again at a later event. Elizabeth and Helen should both be feeling better still now. So tell me how that feels this time. Good. That's very good, Helen. Elizabeth, that's powerful. That's yeah, because the important thing is that you notice that I did the thing about recognizing it was just human, and because whatever any of us do, we do, and it's all we can do given the resources we have to deal with the situation we're in at the time. It's all we can do. We're humans. We're not designed to live as we live, and we revert every now and again to ancient models of behavior patterns, and sometimes things don't work out in the way that we'd like them to work out. So that's one. Now, the reason why it's important you go from right to left is because that feels it closes off something. And you can experiment with this now. If you imagine going left to right with the door, it doesn't feel anything like as good because we write left to right. That's the normal way of doing things, left to right. So by going right to left with the wall, so it's important when you do this with a client or when you do this for yourself at any time, and you'll find that as you get better and better, you don't need to repeat the whole thing. But it is important the door goes from right to left. Now, if it surges up again, all you need to do is to look at that wall, look at the handle where it's jammed up against the left side, and notice it's got a door which you can go in and inspect if you like. You can test the door, and in fact, what you'll discover is if it fires up again at any point, all you've got to do is give the door a push, notice it doesn't open, and straight away reassure yourself, and you think, do you know what? I had every reason to do what I did, and it's not half as bad as I thought it was. And it's an easy way of discharging anxiety. Now, who else was doing that at the same time? Got time to talk about? Yeah, still right to left, Genevieve. Still right to left, because we still read left hand. Not you still read left to right. So it goes. It's really pushing against natural processes, and that's exactly what we want to do. Right. So we've got one more to do. This one I created especially. I call this the 3 C's, and this is Elise. I didn't see that you're on here. Nice to see you. This is a great way of learning to deal with any difficult situation. And it doesn't matter what the difficult situation is, any difficult situation you're going to deal with. I know that the first one I was talking about dealing with a difficult person, but this is dealing with a difficult situation, a whole different ballgame where something you've got to do that you're not really looking forward to at all. Either because you feel that there's going to be people there that are going to try and get a grip of you, or you really could do with a lot more personality and charisma, you just haven't got any, or you feel you're going to need to be understanding of somebody who is very, very difficult to be understanding with in a situation. It's very difficult to be tolerant. Type me some okays, people, when you know the sort of situation I'm talking about here. The situation that is just very difficult to deal with because you haven't got the resource, you're dreading it. It's going to go on for an hour. Oh, good, you're all okay with it, fantastic. But this time I'm going to work with all of you, okay, Michael, yeah, I know that one. I'm going to work with all of you on this one because this is a good one. And it's called the 3 C's because we're going to decide, or you're going to decide, which of the best person the persona that's best to help. Now, this is not what I set as nomads before you run away with it. You've got the controllerist, the carist, or the charismatist. These are not personalities, they're resource manufacturers, okay? So that you've got the controllerist, who makes control things, the carist, who makes caring things, and the charismatist, who is all about charisma and energy. Are we all understanding so far where we are? These are resource manufacturers. Great stuff. Okay. Now, I want you to think of your situation that you've got. It can be an imaginary one. It can be something that you've had to deal with in the past. It can be an awkward meeting with people, anything you like, any situation. And we won't have loads of okays. I will assume that you've now got in your mind a situation which you've got coming up or that you had coming up that was causing you a lot of problems. They're not personalities, these ones, they're resources. So you know which one you need. Decide in your mind whether you need the work of the controllerist, the carist, or the charismatist. Decide which one you need, the controllerist, the carist, or the charismatist. In other words, you need to be more in control or you need to be able to understand somebody a bit more, or you need to be able to have a bit more energy. And Emma, yeah, well, you'll see. We're doing it slightly differently from that, Emma, but you'll see. And then to your horror, you discover that the very one that you need is absent. The other two are there. So just for me making it easy to work, I'm going to say the controllerist is missing. The carist is there, and the charismatist is there. You might want to make it with others. It doesn't matter. You can do the exercise again. So the carist is there, the charismatist is there, and the controllerist isn't. And this is because that's the bit that's missing, because that's the part that causes you the difficulty. That's exactly why you have a problem, because you know whatever, and that's why you're feeling difficult. So you've identified what the absence is, but the other two are there, and you say to them, where the hell is he? I need him, her. And so you hear the other two call out, oi, you're needed here. So the two of them call out to the third one, oi, you're needed out here. And we'll say it's a controllerist, looks up and says, oh, okay, one moment, please. And they come over and stand in front of you. Now, this is where you're going to switch to whichever part you want. So you're working now with the controllerist, the carist, or the charismatist. Okay, and only you know which one you need. And the blur of hands is like magic. You can't actually see what he or she is doing. Blur of hands. And then quite abruptly, they've finished an artifact they've created. You can't recognize it instantly. But if it's the controllerist, they give you, it's like a dial with a control in it, and you realize it's something you can flick around with one finger. You can turn it up and down just as you need it. If it's the carist, it's a special gauge that tells you how others are feeling. And you can feel what the gauge is telling you. And it vibrates. The more it vibrates, the more you know they're uncomfortable. The less it vibrates, the more you know you're having an effect. The charismatist gives you something bright, energetic, shiny, and sparkling. And it somehow increases in the energy as you squeeze it. It's like a squeezy ball of some sort. And as you squeeze it, you find that you actually can pick up the energy from it. So if you wanted the controllerist, and I'm going to work with each group separately, I want you to imagine who needed the controllerist. Let's have a few okays for who wanted the controllerist. Okay, good, excellent. Okay, so this next bit is all for those who wanted the controllerist. You're imagining that the artifact that the controllerist gave you, it's a little device, it's got a control in it. Now, it can be a box, it can be a sphere, it can be a plate, it doesn't really matter what, but it's got a control in it. The important thing is that you discovered you can actually control this with one hand. And I want you to notice it's a bit like the control room gauge, except much easier to work. And you realize that you can thumb the control round and you can actually feel your resource increasing as you turn it round. In fact, when you turn it to one end, you might even feel a little surge of something which feels a bit like anger about how dare anybody make you, because you're imagining a situation here. How dare anybody make you feel that awkward? So you turn it back a little bit. If you turn it right the way down, it has another effect. You find it, if you turn it right the way down, that controllerist gauge, it's, yeah, so what? Okay, so what? It'll pass. It's okay. So what? Who can feel those things working? The extreme of the dial is, yeah, I'm going to sort this out. The other end is, yeah, do you know what? It's no big deal. And it's that control. Now, you see, you've created a control. You can always get a new one. It's interesting, isn't it? Because it's only an odd idea. If you can imagine the control that you've got vividly, you can always find it without going through the routine again. You'll only need to do the carist, controllerist, and charismatist when you're teaching it to other people. And once you've got the artifact, you've got that forever. Now the carist, people that need to feel more of an understanding somehow. This is a gauge. Not anything you can turn, but you can feel it. And imagine that situation you're in where somebody needs your understanding. You find it quite difficult because, frankly, they irritate you. We all know that one. You know you should be caring, but they irritate you. Now, imagine that gauge that you've got in your hand that you feel vibrating, and it's a sound. It's a sort of a physical gauge. You can't see it, you can feel it. The more it vibrates, the calmer you feel. The less it vibrates, the more you're allowed to be less calm. So notice that now that when you're feeling that gauge in your hand, left hand or right hand, makes no difference, or anywhere else in your body, you can feel that vibrating. The more it vibrates, the more tolerant and understanding, the more you think, yeah, okay, I'll give them some time here. Who can feel that? I'll give them some time. And your own impatience and irritation at the process just fades away. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Your own impatience and irritation just fades. I'm saving my favorite one to last. Okay. And okay, now those of you that had the charisma test, I hope that you had, oh, Dawn, good, okay, the charisma test. I'm hoping that it was something which is really brightly coloured with some sparkling LEDs in it, something of that sort. And as you squeeze it, you feel it's like a rubber ball of sorts. As you squeeze it, you feel the energy rushing up your arm into your body. You can actually feel it as you squeeze it. And if it becomes overpowering, you just let go of the squeeze of it. You only have to squeeze it once, and it squeezes the energy and the charisma and gives you a sense of energy and liveliness into your entire body. Who can feel that as you do that? And if you need it, you can squeeze. You can have two of them, one in each hand, a double squeeze. Yeah, Genevieve, because you're quite nomad, you would respond extraordinarily well to that one. Really, that's good. Okay. In a sense, Mary, they are, Jacqueline, good. That these are all simple techniques. I'm not pretending there's anything especially innovative. I mean, they're all, oh, that's interesting, Helena. I'm not pretending there's anything sort of hugely innovative or original, although I've not seen them before. And these are all very, very simple techniques. Okay, yes, Angie, because of your life situation, Angie, is it all right if I work with you for a minute? Okay, I want to do some special work with you, Angie. Okay, because I know your situation, and nobody has to know exactly why we're doing what we're doing. Angie, I want you to let's see. Work with your eyes closed, Angie. With this one, just okay me if you're happy to work with your eyes closed. It's only going to take a couple of minutes. Okay, good. Eyes closed. So, Angie, I want you to imagine that the controllerist, the carist, and the charismatist, they know that you need something of each of those things in your particular situation. You know that, and I know that. So the controllerist, the carist, and the charismatist, they're all standing in front of you, and they've got their thinking. They've got their fingers to their mouth, and they're looking at the ceiling for a minute, and they're thinking. They look at each other, and then they nod, and they go into a little huddle. And you just know that they're creating something which embodies control when you need it, and especially when you need it, because you do some of the time. Caring, super caringness when you need it, which takes away all the irritation and discomfort from you, and the charismatic side when you want to inject a bit of life into the proceedings. And it's just one little tool, and it might have 3 buttons on it, it might have three squeezy handles, I don't know, but your mind knows that it's got 3 ways you can operate it, and probably 3 buttons, knowing you as I do. And it's brightly coloured when you need it to be. But the interesting thing, Angela, when you look at this, if you need more control, it becomes one colour. It becomes whatever colour means control to you. When it needs to be caring, it probably becomes a warm pink colour. If it needs charisma, it probably becomes an electric blue or red or whatever, but it can be whatever colour you like. And you just know that in your particular situation, that tool is going to help you to stand up whenever you need to. Angela, open your eyes now. Tell me the first thing you think when now you've opened your eyes, first thing you feel. Don't please me, you know better. If I need to do something more, I've got loads of stuff I can do yet. Grateful tears, that's good. And was it 3 buttons? I got a sudden feeling you created with something with 3 buttons in it. 3 push buttons. Yeah, I thought it was. That trumpet valve buttons, I'm guessing. Were they on the top or were they on the side of it? It's something you can do with one hand. You can push whichever button you need. On the top. Okay, good. That's perfect, Angela, because there are times when himself is being a bit trying and he can't help it when you need to push one of those buttons. Angela, I want you to think of a particular situation where you might need one of those buttons. You know exactly what I mean. Let yourself go to any one of the situations you're confronted with, because you do. Sometimes it's tough for you. Let yourself go to any one of those situations and push the appropriate button, Angela. It might be pushing all 3, because you can push 1, 2, or 3 of them. Any 2 or 3. So tell me what happens when you imagine the situation which you know is inclined to be troublesome, and you push the buttons or the button. How does that feel when you do that in your mind? And anybody else who's had any effect with that? Any comments? We've got 5 minutes or so. Okay, Angela. Yeah, the carist is the thing that you probably would need most, because you're totally forgiven for feeling irritated on occasions. Anybody would, but that's going to help you to get more of an understanding of being in the other person's boots, as it were. There's no notes. I'll apologise for that. It just wasn't time. I either had to do it without writing notes or not do it. So I decided you'd probably all like to have the seminar, even if there were no notes with it. But you will get the video, so you can make your own notes from it. there's a few bits in this today that wouldn't have been there if I'd written notes, because I tend to work by feedback. One of these days, I'm going to fly by the seat of my trousers. I'm going to come up with the first idea of what I'm going to do, and I'm going to just say to people, okay, you give me a problem and I'll find a way of fixing it. Who would actually like that? Bearing in mind I might get totally egg on my face because I can't guarantee that I'd come up with something. I'm usually pretty good at the stuff. If anybody would be interested, at some point I'll do that. It would be fun, and I could be caught. That I usually can come up with stuff. Okay, I'll do that at some time. An open-ended, see if we can catch Terence Watts out session. In fact, if you enjoyed today and you've not already done it, you should do that. In fact, I think the sign-off page is going to take you to there anyway. And there's, because there are another 6 lessons, but another 24 of these brief interventions, but mostly geared up, usually slightly longer, and mostly geared up to helping other people get over relationships and stuff like that, all sorts of different things.